Shady business practices at automotive repair shops. Maybe what I should have really titled this video was business practices at automotive repair shops that you should watch out for. And one of the reasons I'm making this video is because a lot of this stuff really amuses me, but also because, you know, I want my customers to be able to get their cars repaired, or my subscribers, and sometimes they're, you know, I understand that people are geographically located all over the world. I don't expect everybody in the whole world to send their car to me. And one of the problems that we've run into with a lot of Mercedes repair shops over the years is that sometimes there are what I call red flag practices. And so we're going to talk about some of these that I always encourage people who have these cars to watch out for. So there are a number of these, and a lot of them have to do with how the shops handle money, and some of them have to do with the scope of work performed on the car. So the first one is deposit collection. So it's perfectly reasonable for a shop to ask for a deposit up front. This ensures that the person who owns the vehicle is serious and is interested in getting their car repaired if it is a major project or a major sorting. Now, a major project will sometimes involve spending multiples of tens of thousands of dollars in a car. This is especially true when you have older cars like a 280 SL or a 300 SL Roadster, a 300 SE Coupe, or a 600. There's not going to be a $100, $500, $2,500 bill with these cars. The bill's usually going to be somewhere between, $15,000 and up. But a good shop will tell you what they need the deposit for. They'll say, look, I need $5,000 and change. Let's say they need $5,250 to purchase various parts, like the rear axle parts of that car, which could be around $1,500. Let's say all the subframe mounts, maybe a set of tires, maybe shifter bushings if the car has air conditioning, a new AC compressor, and some funds to get AC hoses made. What they shouldn't be taking money for, though, is incomplete labor, and you should watch out for shops that are asking for these extremely round numbers. Like, I know I said $5,000 a second ago, don't make fun of me, but let's say a shop says I need $5,000 or $10,000. They just say it, I need that much. That's not really what I'd call a transparent money request. The better way to do it is to come up with an estimate if you're a shop owner and submit a request for a specific amount of money for specific items. You don't want to end up in a situation where there's money being handed out with no paper trail. Next, and this is a lesson I've learned too, if you're a shop owner, try to make as clear of an estimate as possible. Nobody expects you to be 100% accurate with a 30, 40, 50-year-old car, but if you are putting together an estimate that has all the parts and the expected labor times, and you put a disclaimer in it saying that depending on what we find, things might change, that's not a bad idea, because it gives you some protection later on as the shop owner, in case you have a customer like this lady that brought us a 190D 2.2 and wanted us to go through and repair the whole car. I mean, this is a rusty 190D 2.2. So I didn't make an estimate or take a deposit, and I ended up stuck with a car that was worth maybe $1,200 when I ended, and was worth maybe $1,000 when I started. So again, this sort of situation you have to really watch out for. Now, another situation that you might want to be careful of is a person who asks for an all-cash deposit where there's no paper trail. If you're working with a shop that says, hey, I need $20,000 in cash, $30,000 in cash, they won't give you an estimate or a paper trail, even though it seems like they have a functional shop. That is a massive red flag, because it means that they're not reporting that income, very likely, and while you have to pay taxes on your money, they are for some reason not. So, I try to equalize the playing field, because I believe that if my neighbor has to pay taxes, I should have to pay taxes too. It's even as much as I hate most taxation and think it's not used very effectively by the government, I don't think that some people should have to front all the burden. And let's face it, we do in this country overtax the middle class, and we should be taxing corporations more. So, just saying, I do think of that. But anyway, the next thing that I'd watch out for is what I call a false invoice or a false accounting of work performed. This happens when a shop will make a list of all the things that were needed in a car, but then they do an entirely different set of repairs. And sometimes this set of repairs will take less time, less money, fewer parts to complete than the initial set of repairs that were estimated. Now, how do you find this? Well, if you're a naive moron, you're kind of screwed. But if you're an astute individual, like most people own a Classic Mercedes, you can find out if there are any discrepancies by actually going through the car and examining the vehicle. I recently ran into a situation where a shop claimed they had rebuilt a fuel pump on a 1972 280 SE, and after I looked at the fuel pump, I said, not only is this not a replacement pump, this pump has never been rebuilt. I don't know what they did. Now, if they actually had all the old parts to show for the work, that would have helped too. So if you're a mechanic, keep your old parts, or at least take photos of them and send them to your customer so that you actually have a leg to stand on to defend yourself, because sometimes when items are rebuilt, they don't always look rebuilt. There's the case of the transmission that is in my own 300D that doesn't look like it's been rebuilt, but I went through the whole thing with factory Mercedes parts. Why? Because I love the car, and also because I don't actually like the way rebuilt things look. I like the way they look when they've aged. So anyway, if you found this video to be extremely useful, please like, share, and subscribe. Tap the bell for notifications. And if you feel that you've been ripped off by a mechanic, or you know of a Mercedes mechanic that's ripping their customers off, let me know so we can expose them together, because the classic car world works much better when everybody's honest. So thank you so much, and enjoy driving your Classic Mercedes.